Thank you, Mr President. I give notice that tomorrow I shall ask the Honourable Leader. Further to Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe's 9th of August 2025 announcement that the Tasmanian Liberal Government will phase out Greyhound racing by 30th of June 2029, can the Honourable Leader please advise? 1. In relation to the advice informing the Tasmanian Government's decision to shut down Greyhound racing, A. Prior to the Government's decision to shut down Greyhound racing in Tasmania, did the Government receive any advice or a recommendation from a regulator that the industry should be shut down, including from the Department of Natural Resources and Environment Tasmania, Tas Racing or the Office of the Racing Integrity Commissioner? B. If such a recommendation was received, when was it received, and will the Government publish that advice on the Department of Natural Resources and Environment Tasmania website? C. If no such recommendation was received, what regulatory advice did the Government rely on in deciding to shut down the industry? D. Has any regulator, including the Department of Natural Resources and Environment Tasmania, Tas Racing or the Office of the Racing Integrity Commissioner ever advised the Government that Greyhound racing in Tasmania cannot be regulated to acceptable animal welfare or integrity standards? E. What data or evidence did the Government rely upon to conclude that animal welfare or integrity problems in Greyhound racing mean that Greyhound racing no longer aligns with community expectations? F. In each of the past 10 years, how many substantiated breaches relating to Greyhound animal welfare were identified by an industry regulator? G. In each of the past 10 years, how many integrity or animal welfare breaches relating to Greyhound racing resulted in charges, suspensions or disqualifications or other disciplinary action? H. Did the Government seek advice from the Department of Treasury and Finance before making the decision to move to shut down Greyhound racing? I. What economic analysis or modelling did the Government rely upon when deciding to move to shut down the Greyhound racing industry? 2. Other than legislation, is the Tasmanian Government exploring other mechanisms to shut down Greyhound racing? 3. In relation to licensed Greyhound trainers and kennel inspections, over the past 5 years, A. How many licensed Greyhound trainers were there in Tasmania each year? B. Each year, what proportion of those trainers had their kennels inspected by the Tas Racing Integrity Unit or the former Office of Racing Integrity? C. How many Greyhound kennel inspections were undertaken by the Tas Racing Integrity Unit and former Office of Racing Integrity each year? D. What proportion of these inspections were unannounced or intelligence-led inspections? E. How many separate kennel properties were inspected? F. How many inspections identified animal welfare or racing rule breaches? G. How many inspections resulted in compliance action, charges, suspensions or other disciplinary outcomes? 4. Since the commencement of the Racing Regulation and Integrity Act 2024 in February 2025, A. How many complaints relating to Greyhound animal welfare or integrity matters have been received by 1. Tas Racing or the Tas Racing Integrity Unit and 2. The Racing Integrity Commissioner? B. How many of those complaints resulted in 1. A formal investigation and 2. No investigation being undertaken? C. How many investigations have been self-initiated by the Tas Racing Integrity Unit? D. How many investigations have been self-initiated by the Racing Integrity Commissioner? E. How many investigations has the Tas Racing Integrity Unit undertaken in total? F. How many investigations has the Racing Integrity Commissioner undertaken in total? G. How many of the Greyhound animal welfare and integrity investigations resulted in 1. Disciplinary charges, 2. Licence suspension or disqualification, 3. Other disciplinary action, or 4. No breach being identified? 5. In relation to Greyhound euthanasia rates, over the past 10 years, how many Greyhounds registered in Tasmania have been euthanised each year? B. How many of the Greyhounds euthanised over the past 10 years were 1. Registered to race at the time of death, 2. Retired from racing but still owned or kept by licensed racing participants at the time of death? C. How many were euthanised for each of the following reasons? 1. Injury sustained while racing, 2. Injury sustained while training, 3. Injury sustained outside racing or training, 4. Illness or disease, 5. Old age, and 6. Any other reasons? D. Of the Greyhounds euthanised due to injury sustained while racing or training, how many were 1. Euthanised immediately at the racetrack or training facility, and 2. Euthanised later following veterinary treatment or assessment? E. What process must licensed participants follow before a Greyhound they own is euthanised, and is this process the same regardless of whether the dog is registered for racing or retired? 6, in relation to the breeding of greyhounds, what approval and or notification processes must licensed participants follow to breed a litter? B, how long does the breeding process typically take from the time of application to the birth of a litter? C, how many litters of greyhounds have been bred in Tasmania each year over the past 10 years? D, how many individual female greyhounds were used for breeding in Tasmania in each of the past 10 years? E, what is the average number of litters produced per breeding female? F, how many female greyhounds produce 3 or more litters over the last 10 years? G, what rules or limits exist on the number of litters a female greyhound may produce in Tasmania? 7, in relation to the economic impact of the industry, A, what economic modelling has been undertaken by the government or Tas Racing regarding the economic contribution of greyhound racing in Tasmania? B, what is the estimated gross value added to the Tasmanian economy attributable specifically to greyhound racing? C, how much government funding has been provided to support greyhound racing in Tasmania in each of the past 5 years? D, of that funding, how much was provided for 1, prize money, 2, infrastructure and capital works, 3, industry development or breeding incentives, and 4, administration and regulatory functions? E, how much revenue to the Tasmanian government is attributable to greyhound racing in each of the past 5 years, including revenue from 1, wagering taxes, 2, race field fees, and 3, licence fees? F, over the past 5 years, what is the net fiscal impact on the Tasmanian budget of greyhound racing after accounting for government funding provided and revenue received? G, what has been the total prize money paid for greyhound racing in Tasmania in each of the past 5 years? H, what is the average annual prize money earned per greyhound trainer in Tasmania? And I, in each of the past 5 years, how many greyhound trainers earned in prize money? 1, $0, 2, less than $10,000, 3, between $10,000 and $50,000, and 4, more than $50,000.